now. So I'm recording this so that I can at least pass this along to classmates that have not had the ability to get onto Zoom here, so that nobody's left behind here. Here's the deal. The AP board decided, the college board I should say, decided and announced yesterday that basically what they're going to do is they are going to do a 45-minute online class test, if you will. Now, we already kind of knew that moving forward, but they announced exactly how it's going to work. The U.S. history test is going to be given Friday, May 15th or Wednesday, June 3rd, which means they are going to give you two opportunities to take the exam online. They're going to give you the link to that through the email that you use to sign up for the College Board. So basically on Friday, May 15th, the exam will be administered online at 2 p.m. And on Wednesday, June 3rd, you will have an online exam starting at noon. You can choose either one of those online testing windows to take the exam. If you don't do that on those days, you would have to take the makeup exam, which they have not set the date for that yet, but that would be in late June. So you do not want to miss taking the exam on either May 15th or June 3rd. I would strongly advise you to be ready to take the exam on May 15th when it's fresh in your mind, when you've gone through the review sessions, when you feel comfortable to log on and do it, okay? Waiting till June, let's be honest, by that point, if we're lucky enough to actually get back in the building, are you really going to be in the mindset to take an exam online in June when the weather's turning exceptionally nice? And quite honestly, you're done with all your schoolwork for the year, for your online requirements and everything. You're not really going to want to jump back in and take an AP exam. So I think the earlier you take it would be better for most of you, if not all of you. So again, those dates again are Friday, May 15th at 2 p.m. and Wednesday, June 3rd at noon, with a makeup date that's TBA right now. But again, those would be times that you would log on, and as soon as you log in and start the exam, you would have 45 minutes to complete the exam. Now, Mr. Flickinger and I went through a kind of webinar, if you will, with the College Board, where they announced exactly what the expectations are for us for U.S. history. You are on the hook for everything units 1 through 7, which is technically what we just finished with World War II. So you are on the hook from basically Columbus landing and sailing the ocean blue and discovering the Americas all the way up to and through World War II. That is the content that would be fair game for the AP exam. All right. So I would strongly advise you to start looking back in your 5 steps to a 5 to get ready for that. Now, on top of that, we were in this webinar and we were asking questions, and I asked how in the world they were going to be able to assure that somebody was not cheating. You know, how is it possible that you would not be able to, you know, let's say you've got this computer screen locked like they do for the air test. There's nothing that prevents you from holding up a cell phone off camera and looking up information. Okay. There's certainly nothing that would prevent you from having another computer screen or another computer next to you, or even having your teacher standing in the room telling you what to write. They said there's no real way to police that, but what they are going to do is they are going to have some form, and they're not releasing it. They're not telling us what the web, I guess, security would be. I have no clue. So both Mr. Flickinger and I were less than enthusiastic about the response from the AP board, because it puts our students, quite honestly, at a disadvantage. The meaning by that is, you know, they said during it that you couldn't take a class test, that you couldn't be sitting in the same room. Well, how in God's name are they going to assure that you are not all sitting in the same room taking the exam? You know, what they did say is that the exam, since it is 45 minutes and timed, that students would not technically have the time to cheat, that you would not have the time to actually write what you need to write while still getting help. So I'm not sure if that's really the greatest answer in the world, but that's what they came up with. Now, what they did say in this AP webinar was that you are allowed to use notes. You are allowed to use your textbook. You're allowed to use your 5 steps to a 5. You're allowed to use whatever resources you have at your disposal to make sure that you are, you know, answering something correctly or answering something that, you know, would make sense, if you will. You're allowed to use resources, what they're basically allowing for this. So literally you can have your desk or your bed or whatever else just strewn with documents, with notes, with whatever. The main thing that I would say is if you're going to do that, you need to maybe get a folder together, binder, and organize it. Okay. Try and make it as chronological as you possibly can. Remember, I posted the notes on Google Classroom for every unit. So you have the notes that I would have gone over in class from units 1 through 7 already posted there. So you can, even if you have, let's say you have 2 computer screens or you have access to 2 computers, you can have the computer up and running during the AP exam, and you can have the other one off to the side set to the notes on Google Classroom or whatever else. Or if you've got them printed out, or if you wrote them all, you can have them off to the side as well. You're not going to have time to sit there and sift through mountains of paperwork. You're not going to have time to look through your book. What they're really saying with that is let's say, for example, they ask a question about World War I, and you all of a sudden blank as to who the president was during World War I. That's just a quick flip to it in the textbook, look at it and go, oh, it's Wilson, that's right. And then you start writing. You're going to still need to know the concepts. You're still going to need to know the connectivity, the cause and effect. You're still going to have to know that in order to write something within 45 minutes. Okay? So they're basically saying at this point, they're allowing you to use resources, but because of the time restrictions, you're not going to have a multitude of time to get those and use them within the context of what you're doing. Now, on the webinar, they did tell us what your format's going to be. Your test for 45 minutes is going to be a DBQ. Now, before you all panic and say, oh my God, you know, how are we going to be able to get through all that? It's an amended DBQ. You will have 5 documents. That's it. 5 documents. And the question, your job is within 45 minutes to go through those documents, to analyze said documents, to try and understand said documents, and then utilize them in some way, shape, or form to answer the question. So you are doing a DBQ. You are, that is the test. There's no multiple choice. There's no FRQ. There's no short answer. Okay. So basically what they're doing is they're deciding that you are going to do a 45-minute essay with 5 documents. All right. And again, that can be anywhere. The question can be anywhere between units 1 through 7. All right. So they could give you a question on the American Revolution. They could give you a question on the Civil War. They could give you a question on Reconstruction, on imperialism, on the World Wars, on the Great Depression. They could do a multitude of different things, but the bottom line is you have to answer that question utilizing the documents within basically 45-minute time frame. Okay, that's what the test is going to be. So that being said, you would have seen on the Google Classroom that I posted, and some of you are on it right now, the letter home to your parents explaining the AP situation this year. Mrs. Smith put this out yesterday. She asked us to post it on here. You have to talk to your parents as to whether or not you are comfortable taking the AP exam this year, or whether or not it's economically feasible to do so. I would strongly advise you to take it because this is the easiest AP route you're going to get. Okay. I realize not everybody's strong at writing, but my job is to get you ready now. Now that I know what to get you ready for, my job is to get you ready over the next few weeks to take that exam in May or early June. Excuse me. So my job will be to hold classes either on Google Meet or on Zoom to make sure that you understand exactly what you're up against for this exam. Now, that being said, let's say you talk to mom and dad and you say, you know what? I'm not interested. I don't want to do this. You can contact, it says, if your student does not want to take the AP test, please know that that is an option for your family. So we are aware of your desire to cancel a test. Parents, not students, so you can't, but your parents can email the building principal, so that's Mrs. Smith, with your student's name and the name of the test your students would like to cancel. Some of you are in multiple tests. Some of you are in AP Bio and you're in AP US and you're in AP whatever. So you may want to say, you know what, I'm going to take the AP US, but I'm not going to take the AP Bio, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Or if this is just your only test, you still got to tell them which test you're canceling. Okay. If you have paid for the test, a refund from the district cannot be processed until we return to our buildings. So it's not like it would be an instantaneous checkout to you. Okay, we are on shutdown, so there's no way we could do that, and the AP board has made that very clear. Okay, so there will be a delay before you can receive your refund on the test. If you have outstanding fees on your student account, the refund will be applied to those fees. So let's say you have a $40 book fine and you have $60 coming back to you, whatever, from the AP exam. 40 that's going to go pay the book fine. So whatever fees you have, your AP money would basically go to cover that. Again, they wanted to make sure you understood what your options were. So please make sure your parents see that letter that I posted on the Google Classroom page and talk about it. Please talk about it with your parents about whether or not you're serious about taking the AP exam this year. You don't know your family's financial situation. That might be something that you want to talk it over with them. I don't want to dissuade any of you from taking the AP exam. I think it's important to actually go through with it and go through the process. You've already done the schoolwork, if you will. So it is important for you to actually see this and participate. Okay. So again,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you said the AP exam, sorry, the AP exam that we can take in May or June, that's optional, or is that
they are making it optional, Morgan. They're basically, what they're saying is, because, and we had this huge meeting amongst the teachers, both Coleraine and Northwest AP teachers. We talked about this, where we realized that some families' financial situations have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, we felt it was necessary to give the option. We are not trying to discourage people from actually taking the exam. We want people to actually be able to take it. Okay. We think it's important for you to actually try it, but we're also saying that you have the option of your parents emailing Mrs. Smith and saying, at this time, it's just not in the cards for our kids to take this exam. Okay. Again, it's not a get out of jail free card for people who are just like, man, I haven't done any work this year, thank God. No, this was an economic decision, not an academic one. Do realize when you do this, there's the possibility that if you say, hey, I'm not taking the AP exam, that you may not get AP credit. You may not get that inflated GPA A, B, or C. You know, you may go back to getting advanced level credit, which would hurt your GPA. So if you're concerned about GPA, you may not want to back off from the test. Okay, so just have that conversation with mom or dad. Is it worth you losing that inflated A, B, or C, whatever your grade was, and going back to advanced credit just because you just don't feel like taking the exam? That's not really what this is for. This is for, hey, mom or dad are struggling right now because of work, because of a layoff or whatever else. We wanted that option to be open so that you're not spending money that maybe could go to other things later on. So again, that's really what the purpose of this letter is to explain to parents that, hey, if the economic situation of your family has changed, you now have the option of getting rid of it. You have the option of doing something different. Okay, so that was the actual letter to the parent. The other is on that link there that I gave you earlier, is the image of all the tests and when they're given. And I realize that some of you are taking AP biology. Your AP biology test, your options would be Monday, May 18th at 2 p.m. And the other one would be Wednesday, June 3rd at 4 p.m. So keep in mind that would be a very busy day on Wednesday, June 3rd. If you're taking AP Bio, you would be taking AP US in the morning and AP Bio in the afternoon if you chose to do them all on the same day. So you do have to kind of look at this AP exam schedule. If you have another AP, let's say you have AP Spanish or you have AP, chemistry or something like that. If you have another AP class, you need to look through this schedule to make sure you're not scheduling both on the same day, because that's a lot of typing in a very short amount of time, and you're doing it twice, which I would not advise. So again, look over this schedule, make sure that you're setting your schedule appropriately to take this exam, because you don't want to put it on a day where you got a million other things going on. You certainly want to talk to your parents about, hey, Friday, May 15th, I need the bandwidth, I need the computer, I need this from about 1:30 on to make sure that A, you can log in correctly into the system, B, that you're all set and ready to go, you got enough battery life, you've done what you need to do to make sure that everything's set, but more importantly, that you have a quiet environment where you're not going to get interrupted. So you got to tell mom and dad, hey, from about 2 to 3 p.m., you can't ask me anything. You can't come into the room and say, hey, I need you to vacuum, or I need you to do the dishes, or no, I need 2 to 3 just open to where I can do this work. I'm not going to be bothered or, annoyed or anything like that. Some of you have little siblings, or maybe you're taking care of cousins or neighbors' kids or whatever else. You can't have them running in and out, distracting you while you're trying to write the essay. So again, I'm giving you those times so that you can schedule that with your family to make sure that you have internet connectivity, to make sure you have computer access, and again, so that you have a very quiet environment with which to take the exam. All right, I'm going to stop at this point and ask, are there any questions? You can unmute your microphone and ask questions, or you can do a chat if you want as well. Are we good? Okay. All right, so here's the deal. And if you have any question at any point, just bring up the chat function and you can type out a question if you need to interrupt me at any point. Or you can do what Morgan did, just unmute your microphone and stop me. It's not that big of a deal. So up until this point, we've talked about how the test is going to look. Now here's what the preparation is going to be. For those of you that have noticed, I've been doing office hours in the morning, okay? That is not conducive to everybody. I realize some people don't wake up till 11:30. So here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm still going to do office hours for my other classes in the mornings. But leading up to the AP exam, I'm going to schedule probably through Google Meet, just because we had so many problems with people logging into Zoom, and I just wanted to give it a shot, see how this worked. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to set up meetings on Google Meet for people to drop in, and we're going to do what we did the day that I had a extra session after school. So I'm going to basically present you with a DBQ. I'm going to post it on Google Classroom so that you can see it and have it in front of you. And we're going to walk through how someone would answer it. We're going to do those types of help sessions because that's the only way that you're going to get ready to take the actual exam in May. All right. So we're going to do that once, maybe even twice a week, where I'll post a scheduled meeting, say, here's when we're going to do it. And we'll probably post them in the afternoons. I'll probably say, hey, we're going to do this at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll take about a half an hour to 45 minutes to get through it, maybe an hour if people have questions, but we're going to go through and I'm going to model how you would answer that question. Not only will that help you with the skill of writing a thesis and determining documents and what they mean, we're also going to work on the idea of review for the exam, because we're still going to be going over some of the concepts from units 1 through 7. During those sessions as well, you can bring up and say, hey, I was reviewing and it talked about the bank war and I don't remember what the bank war is, Mr. V. Can you answer that question now? Can you elaborate? So those sessions are completely set up just for AP students to log in. All right. The only thing I need from you at this point is, after talking, I'm serious about this, after talking with your family, are you going to then continue on and take the AP exam? If you're going to do that, or even if you're not, and there's no judgments if you're not, Okay, again, this is not a, oh, thank God, a get out of jail free. This is, hey, my family doesn't really want to pay for this right now. It's not good for us to pay for this right now. It's not good for our family. That's what it's for. If you say, hey, we're opting out, there's no judgments from me. Okay, I don't understand. I don't know your family situation. I don't know your family economic situation. It's not for me to judge. You're not going to get any sort of grief from me if you say, hey, we're dropping out. Okay, we're just pulling the money and pulling the plug. Basically, what I need to know is how many of my 17 students are actually taking the AP exam. So what I'm going to ask you to do is write me an email one way or the other telling me what your plans are moving forward. You have all throughout spring break to figure that out, because starting today, you're on spring break. I'm not posting anything new. I'm not asking anything of you. Your spring break is yours. But I would strongly advise that if you are going to be taking the AP exam, you use the spring break to get caught up on units 1 through 7. I'm still going to check my email. I may not have office hours, but I'm still going to check my email all the way through break. So if you have questions, you can email. I've said this before. If you need special office hours, one-on-one, a video chat, or whatever else, please let me know. We'll set that up. It's totally fine. It's either we get together and actually have a video chat, or I've got to tutor my children on 3rd and 5th grade math. Trust me, I'd much rather talk about the bank war or Reconstruction than trying to figure out how to explain what a remainder is instead of regrouping, which is the new math. I'm serious on this. I'd much rather talk to you. I love my children, but not their homework. Okay? So please, if you need to set up a video chat during spring break or even after that, let me know. We can certainly do that. But starting the first week that you're back, okay, so starting April 14th, you not only will have your first assignment, and your assignments up until this, your assignments for class have been geared towards trying to get you ready for the AP exam. We're going to continue on with that, okay? What I'm going to set up, though, is starting April 14th, those that are taking the AP exam are going to continue working on the AP work. So what that means is whatever I post to do during the AP help sessions, that's going to be your homework for the week if you're taking the AP exam. So when I post a DBQ and I give you an assignment associated with that, we are going to have help sessions in the afternoon where you log on and we can do it together. Okay. It's just at that point you completing it on your own. That's your homework for the week. That's your assignment. Those that are not doing the AP exam are going to do what my CCP kids are doing. Since CCP is not prepping for an exam, you're going to continue on and you're going to do the assignments that are given to them. What are the assignments like? You've already seen them. The World War II assignment that you have right now, that is what the CCP kids have been doing as well. So you and the CCP kids would continue doing that while I'm prepping the AP test takers for the exam. So there would be 2 separate assignments going on at the same time. So AP test takers, it is not your responsibility to do the other assignment. Those that are not going to take the AP test, it's not your responsibility to continue going with the AP review. Okay? So there will be 2 sets of grades moving forward in AP, 2 sets of assignments, if you will, per week. Every week we'll have 100 points. It's just a matter of what you're doing to get those 100 points. Either you're doing the AP review or you're doing whatever my CCP kids are doing moving forward with the history curriculum. Either way, you're doing college level material. Now, are there any questions? Okay, folks, that's pretty much all I have for you. It's a lot to digest. I want to make sure you understand, again, as a just kind of review, if you will, for those that kind of wandered in late or had connectivity issues. Your test is now going to be officially a 45-minute DBQ with only 5 documents, okay? 5 documents as opposed to the 7 they would normally put on there. They are grading it with essentially the same rubric. You're going to be encouraged to use 4 out of the 5 or 5, all 5 within your DBQ, okay? You will have just 45 minutes to read through the question, to read through the documents, and to compose your DBQ, your essay. So keep in mind, you're going to have to work on your quickness, all right? Because in reality, by the time you get done reading those documents, you and I both know you're only going to probably have 35 minutes to write the essay, okay? You are allowed to use whatever resources you want. You're allowed to have a binder full of things, your textbook, you're allowed to have supplementals, you're allowed to have another computer up and running, but you're still not going to have a lot of time to log on and do anything extra. Because again, you got 10 minutes to go through, basically 10 minutes to go through those documents and 35 minutes with which to write. So in reality, by the time you get outlined, by the time you get organized, you're really only using those supplementals for, oh, dang, what's that guy's name? Or, oh, what am I talking about the right war? So you're kind of using the supplementals to make sure you don't make a silly mistake, to make sure that you're not, oh, William McKinley and the decision to get involved in the Civil War. You know, obviously one of those is wrong. Okay. So you're using the supplementals to make sure that you don't make a silly mistake in your writing. That's all the supplementals are used for. Again, you're allowed to use those. You got 45 minutes and you're doing it online. I do not know what the security features are going to be. I don't know if they're going to have, like, you have to have your video on or something like that while you're taking it, to where they can watch you take it. That was something that was floated by another teacher, and somebody's like, who the hell is going to have the time to watch you take an exam? And especially when we have millions of kids taking the exam at the exact same time. So I don't see how that's even remotely feasible. Again, I'm not sure. I know they will, by the way, I know they will have a plagiarism detector operating at that point. So do not think it's okay to look up something online and just type it word for word or even paraphrased without getting dinged on that. They did admit to that. They did say that that was going to be one of the security features. So it is not okay to have a supplemental open and be like, oh, well, as this person said it best, you know, and type out something from another website or from your textbook or whatever else. Don't do that, because that's the stuff they will be dinging you for. And I know they will have a really solid plagiarism detector. So again, don't be cutting and pasting or typing directly out of a source when you're taking the exam. But you have 45 minutes to take the exam, and then you hit submit, okay? And then you're done. That's it. Your exam dates, again, are Friday, May 15th at 2 p.m. and Wednesday, June 3rd at noon. If you don't make either one of those, you have a makeup testing window that they will explain at a later date. I'm not sure exactly when it would be, but I would imagine you're talking probably end of June, early July, which you don't want to do. You know full well that your time away from Northwest has robbed you of a number of facts, figures, and anything else. Some of you, let's be honest, became very dumb over the last couple of weeks. And I'm not looking at anybody particular. Bong bong. So, bottom line is, those are your testing dates. Again, we will have review sessions moving forward that I will post on Google Classroom. The only thing I need you to do from this point on, aside from if you haven't done your air Quizlet, if you haven't done your 1930s DBQ, or you haven't done your World War II assignment yet, those are your 3 assignments that are out there. Please make sure you get them done. They're still open. Get them in through Google Classroom or through email, at least by the end of spring break, please, so that we can start pretty solidly coming back on April 14th. You have those assignments out there so far. You'll have an assignment when you get back in April. What you need to do over spring break, 5 steps to a 5, start looking through. Again, units 1 through 7 are the only fair game for this test. So you don't need to worry about the Cold War. You don't need to worry about modern America. I'm still going to post things on there in case you want to continue with the content. And in case you want to reference as an outside, hey, this is the effect of this. So I'll still post that, but that's not going to be required for your actual exam. Excuse me. The other thing that you need to do, again, is sit down with mom and dad over spring break, figure out what you want to do, and email me one way or the other. So by April 14th, I should have 17 emails from all of my students in AP telling me which way they're going to go. Yes, I'm taking the exam, or no, I'm not. Now, after all that and all the summations, For those of you with video controls, go ahead and show your video. We need to see smiling faces. Except for Bong and Bongs.
Wow, I see how it is. How about
There we go. All right, good smiling faces. And look, the Spanish Inquisition, I knew it. He wanted to be completely ridiculous, Jones. It's ridiculous. Anyway, folks, I want you to have a good spring break. I know you can't go anywhere. If I could suggest,
I can go for a walk.
Yeah, go for a walk. If I could suggest something, just ask your parents, hey, can we all pile in the car and just drive somewhere? We don't have to get out of the car. Just take a tour.
I can steal the car.
Yeah, let's not do that. But that's my agreement with my children today. When they're done with their homework and when I'm done with all this, we're just going to get in the car and we're going to drive someplace. Okay, we're not going to get out of the car. We're just going to drive. Okay, I strongly advise you to do that.
I think Glen Meadows has a drivable place that you can go see flowers.
There you go. See, Bung and Bung, a floral display, all for you.
I mean, if I bring my new addition to the family, she's gonna eat all the flowers.
What part of not getting out of the car are you not understanding?
She's gonna jump out. Like, she literally almost jumped out of the car while it was driving like 50.
See, even dogs want to get away from you, Bung and Bung. Okay, folks, that's all I have for you. If you have questions, stay behind. Give me either a chat or you can ask questions. Other than that, email's always open. It's good seeing you. Have a great spring break.
You too.
Nice seeing you guys.
Are you sure, Morgan?
Yeah.
You know, Francis, I thought that was your livestock, by the way.
Livestock?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's not big enough yet.
Oh, okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting. Sorry.
Wow.
Have a nice spring break.
I do have an actual question, though.
Yes, Mr. Harmon, what's up?
We did DBQs and like an actual AP test a while ago. Did you ever like grade that?
Yes.
Or, okay.
I still have to get them. The AP board was giving a updated rubric, if you will, on how to grade the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So to make it accurate, I'm waiting for them to get the calculator up and running. Once I do that, I am going to post on Google Classroom kind of, hey, this was a ungraded assignment. I'll put it into class, into a progress book as an ungraded assignment so that you know what you got on each part of the test.
Got it.
Okay. So yeah, the tests are graded. I'm just waiting for the AP calculator.
All right.
So,
Cool.
and again, the only thing at this point, now that we have the updated version of the test, the only one you really need to worry about is how did you do on your DBQ?
Right. Cool. I mean, I'm still a little curious on how I did on the other things. Just
Sure.
to know.
Sure. I'll have those out as soon as I get the calculator. I assume sometime over spring break because they just came up with what they're doing moving forward, and they're using the next week to figure out all the grading scales.
Got it.
All right?
All right.
Bunger Bong, go play with your dog.
She's asleep.
Yeah.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Yeah, I thought
Wow.
you killed it and it was asleep. That's why I was
Wait.
concerned. All right, bye.
Bye.